we have 4 new champions coming to Raid. So, without further ado, let's talk about them. Alright, we have, as I said, 4 new Raid champions. Vistal Riverthorn, Solinar the Gleaming, Nolja the Glooming, and Arn the White, which is a mythical. We're gonna start off with Nolja the Gloaming. She is apparently going to be I believe, a champion fragment event starting on the 9th of February. So she's coming out first, I guess, and she is a support champion. Let's go through her kit, and what I'll do is I'll go through all the champions and then going like, all right, for each one, is this a champion that I specifically need? Because I want to emphasize this. Just because they're coming out doesn't mean you need them. Just because they're new, you might not need them. I'm trying to save you some resources here and, you know, not swiping your cart maybe. Or, well, if you would get champions, I would suggest you get them for free. But if you want to swipe, you swipe. Alright, here we go. Shade Strike. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a feeble debuff for 2 turns. If the target is a boss, place a 25% weakened debuff for 2 turns. Instead, this debuff cannot be resisted if Solinar the Gleaming is on the same team. I guess this is the sort of Valentine champion thing, because her and this guy here, hold on, that guy, they're sort of like, they're in love and whatever, like they synergize very well. So you're gonna probably see this throughout their kit. That's the A1. Umbral Purge is A2, has a 75% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. This effect cannot be resisted if Solinar, okay. Then has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Again, if Solinar is on the team, cannot be resisted. If Solinar is on the same team, also places a 50% increased attack. Okay. With books, reduces cooldown. And also gets this to 100%. That's good. Because there are a couple champions out there that already have 100%. So when I was reading at the top there, I'm like, oh, okay, 75%. But with the decreased defense and the increased attack, it sounds pretty good. Alright, then we have our A3, Moonbloom's Blessing. Revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. If Solinar Gleaming on the is on the team and is dead, okay. Revives them with 100% turn meter instead. Place a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. And he's dead. Okay. I mean, yeah. He's probably dead. Hence why we need the revive, I guess. So I don't see that as a huge issue. And from what I can tell, he's already kind of squishy. So, I mean, him going down is probably going to happen quite a bit. And then her passive, Scholar of Shadows. All turn meter field effects used by enemies are 30% less effective. If Solinar the Gleaming is on the same team, fails the champion's turn meter by 30% on the enemy's turn meter fill effect. If there are multiple champions on the team, this with the skill, okay, I don't want to activate. The skill will not on duplicate copies, understood. If this particular champion is dead, only counts turn meter fill effects from skills. Let's read that a little bit. Let's get into this ability a little bit more. Hold on. All turn meter fill effects used by enemies are 30% less effective. Okay. And if Solinar is on the same team, fails this champion's turn meter by 30% of the enemies. Okay, that's kind of nice. Arena. PvP. Immediately. Okay. I don't mind PvP champions. Some of them are like mostly for PvP. Oscar is a good example of that, I feel like. Well, not maybe. Like they might be leaning more to PvP, but most of the time you can use them as PvE, but her kit alone for me personally, the whole removing buffs, I have a couple champions with this ability. Revives all dead allies. Got AoE revives on a couple champions as well. The weaken, not really. We have a weaken on a couple of champions as well. I'm looking strictly to myself here, and I feel like you should definitely do the same thing here. Like, is this something I actually need? Her alone, not really. I don't know. Nah, I'm not 100% sold on this champion. The thing is, what makes her better is the next champion as well. Problem with this is, it's taking up 2 slots. And if it takes up 2 slots, it damn well better be good. Also, when it comes to like live arena shit, when you ban, if one of them is okay and 2 of them is great, and then you ban one of them, it defeats the purpose a little bit. I feel like I'm saying like really basic shit here, but I'm just like, I'm thinking. I'm saying what I'm thinking. That's what I'm doing. Alright, let's go through Solinar the Gleaming. Okay. His A1 is that attacks all enemies. That's kinda cool. Okay. Alright. Solar Surge A1 attacks all enemies. This attack is always a critical if Naldr is on the same team. Has a 60% chance of placing a fatigue debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Okay. Has an 80% chance to counterattack with this pass effect. Has an 80% chance to counterattack with this skill whenever an enemy gets an extra turn or has an instant turn effect activated. Has a 50% chance to counterattack with this skill whenever an enemy has a turn meter. Holy shit. What the fuck? Ooh. God damn. And he's void. That's A1. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. I read through her kit and I'm like, okay. I read through Solinar's kit on just the A1 and I'm like, okay. Damn, okay. Cool. Okay, A2. Attacks 1 enemy. This attack is always critical if Naldr the Gloaming is on the same team. Will ignore 10% of the target's defense for each buff on this champion. Whoa. This champion is immune to all debuffs while this skill is not on cooldown. I think we're gonna sneeze. Thank you. I felt like when you bow and you go like applause. Thank you, everybody. Oh, okay. This champion is immune to all debuffs while this skill is not on cooldown. Whenever an enemy attempts to place a debuff on this champion while this skill is not on cooldown, this champion gains a random buff instead. Holy shit. Okay, I feel like Solinar can work very well alone. Just build him with crit. Kind of. So that's kind of good. A3. Attacks 1 enemy before attacking, steals all buffs and 100% turn meter from the target. If they're not under a stone skin buff. This effect cannot be resisted. This is always a critical if Naldr is on the same team. Will ignore stone skin buffs if she's on the same team. Okay. This champion receives 75% less damage on enemy extra turns or instant turns while this skill on cooldown is not on cooldown. While the skill is on cooldown, reduces the cooldown by 1 turn whenever an enemy receives an extra turn, has an instant turn activated on them, or has their turn meter increased. Holy shit. You know how you run a lot of turn meter increase or speeds and stuff like that? And that's a good thing? Not against this guy, holy shit. Don't run Deacon facing this guy, I feel like. Holy shit. Okay. Passive. Scholar of Sun. Whenever an enemy receives healing, has a 100% chance. Okay, to reduce the amount of healing received to 0. Whoa. This champion will receive that healing instead. Whoa! What the that? Bro. If Knowledge of the Gloaming is on the same team, enemies will receive damage equal to the amount of healing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. I'm thinking, who has really high healing? Demitha. So if I have Nolja and Solinar and Demitha heals, it's a lot of fucking damage. From a passive? Damn. Holy shit. And even if you don't have Nolja, you can't heal. You cannot heal. You with this champion, the other team literally can't heal. What the fuck? I'm a bit scared now. I'm a bit scared. I feel like I need this guy now. Holy shit. Once per turn. Or once per round, if this champion is dead, revives this champion with 100%. What the fuck? HP and 100% terminated when their last living ally is killed. Then places a magma shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the magma shield is equal to 300% of this champion's max HP. If knowledge is on the same team, this buff is protected. What the fuck? Whoa! Damn! Damn! Oh my god! What? The fuck? Holy shit! Bro! Damn! Okay. I need this. Yeah, this is happening. This guy is gonna be on my roster 100%. No questions asked. To a point where I'm like, can I get both? It depends a little bit on what the time gap is. If it's like 2 months between these champions, yeah. But if it isn't, Nolja, I'm gonna do a pass on you, and I'm gonna go for Solinar the Gleaming, because he's on fire. Get it? He's also Void. He's great. Holy shit. God damn. Yeah. Holy goddamn. I'm gonna... This is 100%. This is 100% I'm gonna get. Nolja. Yeah. 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 You know? Yeah! Yeah. Yeah! Yeah. Get it? Cool. Alright. Let's move on, because we have 2 other champions. We don't have a sort of cool looking like this, the wallpaper here. So we're gonna go ahead and go here to Hell Hades for the other champions. Now there's no like visuals or anything, but what I'll do now is I'm gonna put on. We're talking about Arn the White, and this. Let's have a look. Hold on. Give me a sec. This is Arn the White on his base form. Yeah, this is the mythical. Dude, he looks so cool. Holy shit, that sword. Wait, what the fuck? Give me a second here. What the fuck? Excuse me? He's holding a sword. And then... he has a... Okay. Okay. Where are you putting the other sword? And you have a cycle. Or... yeah, I don't know what that weapon is right here. But wait, so he's just carrying this sword around all the time? And then can't cheat it? Damn. Okay. That's his regular form. This is his mythical form. Do you say mythical form? Oh, there's the sword. There's the sword. Holy shit. Bro. Oh, man. I really hope this guy is good. Holy shit. Visually, like, you wouldn't spend a lot of time, like, because he looks really cool, he should also be really good. Because why would you make a really cool champion shit? You know what I'm saying? But that could be the case. We'll see. There's a lot of abilities because there's a little bit of reading here for the simple fact that it's a mythical. Passive, the aura is a 80 all accuracy, all ally accuracy in all battles by 80. That's cool. First ability, all right? Song of Steel attacks one enemy. Places an extra hit if the target's on Death Brand debuff. Okay. Decreases the target's HP and defense by 10%, stacks up to 30%. This effect does not work against bosses. Wait, what? Hold on. What? Okay. 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 Okay, that's a weird one. Alright. White Hot Rage. Attacks one enemy. Before attacking, places a block passive skills. Ooh, debuff for one turn. Okay. Couldn't it be 500 turns? No, but like 2 turns maybe? Come on, it's mythical. Will ignore 50% of the target's defense, as well as block damage and unkillable buff. Ooh, that's cool. Getting through unkillable buffs can be really nice. If the initial target is killed, will repeat the attack against all enemies. Oh! And ignore 25% of the target's defense. Will also decrease the cooldown of Arctic Howl skill by 2 turns if the initial target is killed while under Death Brand debuff. Damn. Books down to 8 to 3 turns. Holy shit. And this is Arctic Howl. 5 turns. 4 turn with the books. Places a 50% increase attack buff and a 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 3 turns. Place a Death Brand debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, then grants an extra turn. So A3 into A2, and then A2 can reset almost basically reset the cooldown of Arctic Howl. Oh my god, okay, that's cool. That is cool. Yeah, Metamorph, we all know it's just, you morph into the polar bear. Will of the Tundra. Passive effect. Enemies under Death Brand debuff receives 20% more damage and inflicts 20% less damage. Okay. Cool. If there are multiple champions on the same team, well, yeah. So basically, or well, hold on. Only if there's multiple, there's only one of them gonna be activated. This skill will not activate on duplicate copies of this champion if this particular champion is dead. This champion is immune to freeze. What the fuck? Stun and provoke debuffs. Active effect. Whenever this champion is killed, it revives them with 50% HP, 100% terminate, and applies block damage buff on 1 turn. Whoa. Dude. That's really cool. Let's have a look at the second form. Tempest of Swords. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Places a stun debuff for 1 turn. If this champion's max HP is equal to or higher than the target, this debuff cannot be resisted. Cool. Goading? Roar? Places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Okay. If the target is a boss, place a provoke debuff for 2 turns instead. If this champion's max HP is equal to or higher than the target's debuff, targets. Holy shit, let me read that again. Holy shit. If this champion's max HP is equal to or higher than the targets, these debuffs cannot be resisted. Cool. Places a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Nice. A3. Here we go. Glacial Rupture. I really hope this is gonna do like a ton of damage. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places 60% decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Oh my god. If this champion's max HP is equal to or higher than the target's, this debuff cannot be resisted. Nice. This effect deals single target damage to each target individual rather than AoE damage. Oh my god. Will ignore 30% of each target's defense, place an extra hit on bosses and enemies under stun or provoke debuffs. Place an extra hit on bosses and enemies under stun and provoke debuffs. Okay. If a target is a boss or is under stun or provoke, will ignore 50% defense increase instead. Holy! I already have like what should you queue up in before you do Glacial Rapture? Okay, damn. Passive effect: every time a champion is killed, increases this champion's HP and defense by 20%. Stacks up to 100%. Immune to freeze, stun, and provoke debuffs. Active effect: whenever an enemy attempts to place a freeze, stun, or provoke debuff on this champion, instantly activates the Glacial Rupture skill. Oh, this will not put the Glacial Rupture skill. Oh, damn! Oh my god! Holy shit! Okay, so what I'm thinking is immediately going into Arctic Howl, then switch forms and do the Glacial Rupture. Yeah, I think that would be I think that would be the big boom, damage, right? Because increase attack and increase accuracy. Yeah. And then yeah. That dude, oh man. Can't wait to play this guy when I get him in 15 years. Get it? Because mythicals don't exist. I mean, they do. Only the guaranteed ones, right? Sorry. Okay. Salty. I'm a little bit salty after not getting a mythical after pulling. I mean, 20 primals on 2x event. Primals are hard to get. Yeah. Anywho, this is not the last one. I should have. Well, yeah. We have also. Let's see here. Vestal Riverthorn. We haven't really sort of. Same thing here. There's no like visuals. Well, there is, and I'll show you this little video I have. Okay. This is Vestal Riverthorn. Silver Watcher. Got a cloak. Cool cloak. Nice hair. A beautiful sword. And some high heels. Thinking immediately is support. Or maybe nah. Support would have a staff, right? Maybe attack. Oh. Let's see. What is she? Wait, can you tell from this? I don't know. Okay. A1. Raging River. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Before attacking, has a 50% chance of removing all buffs from the target. Ooh. This goes up to 75%. Cool. Has a 100% chance to steal all buffs. Okay. Instead, if this skill is not used on this champion's turn. So ally attack or something? This effect cannot be resisted. Or counterattack maybe? This effect cannot be resisted by targets whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion's. Okay. A2. Erosive Force attacks one enemy. Before attacking, places a 50% increased attack buff and a 50% shatter. So I think that's a big shatter on this champion for 2 turns. Will ignore block damage and stone skin buff. Ooh, okay. Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. If the target survives, fills the turn meter of all allies by 30% instead. Damn! That's kind of nice. Looks down to 4. Okay. Meltwater Flood goes down to 4 turns with books. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This effect cannot be resisted by targets whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion. Will ignore 25% of each target's defense. Place an extra hit on enemies whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion's. Place an unkillable buff and a counterattack buff. There it is on this champion. So the A3 synergizes well with the A1. So that means... Damn. So after you activate the A3, and you attack her, she will remove your buffs. And this doesn't have to be this one. This could be like any like counterattack buff. That's freaking cool. Even ally attack or provoke. If you put it in, would you put her in a provoke set? Probably not. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It could be fun. And the passive has a 50% chance to deal 100% more damage against enemies whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion's. This champion receives 30% less damage from enemies whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion's. Okay. Damn. That's a good passive. Okay. All in all, what do I think? I think I like them. I like the one I like the least is Noldra. I believe. Yeah, Noldra the Glooming, Arn the White is, I mean, mythical. It's a very cool mythical, honestly. Someone I really want. Solinar, I'm going for. Vestel and Noldra, the females. Why would it be the females that are weak, huh? They might not be weak, but I'm just not going for them, okay? Don't judge me. I think Solinar and Arn the White are two that I would really want to go for. I mean, to be more realistic, I'm going for Solinar. Arn the White is completely RNG, I'm assuming. It's just, you know, if you pull a Primal and go, oh my god, a mythical, and then he might pop up. Probably not. Probably a Mikage. Sorry. No, but yeah, that's basically all the champions, guys. Are you going for any of them? And if so, who? Who are you most psyched for, and who are like who are you like the least pumped for? For me, the ones I'm pumped for are the White and Solinar. Noldra and Vestel. Vestel, you know what? She's, yeah, the only one I'm like, Noldra is like, eh. And I really don't like when two champions need to synergize to become great. But I feel like Solinar is really good on his own, while Noldra is like, I mean, she's okay. But and then she has some like bonuses when Solinar is on the team. But I generally don't like these sort of things because you like, especially in PvP, and I feel like they're, well, at least, yeah, I feel like they're a little bit more PvP focused. I personally don't like that because, you know, live arena, you can ban one of them and you're handicapped. Similar to the turtles. Like, I love the synergy of those, all right? I really do. But banning Leo, and all of a sudden the team is quite a bit weaker if you don't stun or CC Leo. I mean, because him auto-triggering the A3 when you drop the turtles below 50% that's game over, literally. So yeah. But I still feel like they're all strong enough on their own to sort of carry their own weight without Leo, or with Leo being banned. I don't feel like this is the case. I don't know. Solinar, cool. The thing with Solinar is like, okay, if you do not have Noldra, you need to build crit. And if you do have Noldra, you don't have to build crit. You can focus more on attack or something. So that can synergize very well as well. But yeah. But also, think about this. Let's say you run Solinar and Noldra, and you've built Solinar with like no crit at all because you're relying on Noldra, and then Noldra gets banned. Then Solinar was probably gonna suck a hell of a lot. But yeah, I don't like that. Nah, I don't really like that because people are gonna figure it out and you're gonna ban. I mean, how many times haven't Leo been banned for me in the arena? A couple times, let me tell you. It's probably gonna be a same case here. So I'm going for Solinar. I'm gonna go with crit probably, and Noldra, nah, Catch you later, girl. But yeah, that's it. Ranking them: Arn, hello. We have Solanar, and then Vestel. Vestel is kind of cool with removing all the buffs and everything. That's really cool. And then the big shatter. But yeah, that's my overall. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about the champions in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.